Hi everybody, this is part 2 of Storytime, and this is still about Ouija boards. Well, my friends and I thought it would be fun to convene with the spirits, pretty much daily one summer. We'd regularly break out a homemade one to see how goofy we could get, because it gets too hot to do a darn thing outside during that time of year in the South. We had to find things to keep our 14, 15-year-old selves entertained in. Let's call her Jennifer's tiny little house in the 90s. Things went from casual and believable, I'm a teenager who died in a house fire, or I am an old woman who died of natural causes, stuff like that, to disturbing, I have never had a body, but I am able to experience life down here if you say you accept me. Not good. Not good at all. Don't ever accept that. For those, we'd always take our hands off and demand a new spirit. Good, but you need to say goodbye. After what was essentially auditioning them, laugh out loud, the gang and I managed to settle on a rather gentle entity who went by AJ Duke. AJ said we could talk to him pretty much whenever we wanted to. He was 8 years old and didn't want to cross over because he liked to watch people go about their lives, and he's been doing this for hundreds of years. Sounded like BS, which it was, but whatever. It was an Ouija board. All of it was kind of bullcrap, right? It was all well and good for about a week or so. He would tell us things about other people in the neighborhood in his usual crappy spelling, and it was always hot tea. We were so polite back and forth with the thank you and you're so adorable, oh my god, cringe, I know. And we'd occasionally bring AJ up in jokes and casual banter when we weren't even using the board. He was kind of like a fourth wheel for a few days there. Then it got weird. AJ revealed that our playing was attracting bad spirits onto the property. He said we shouldn't talk as much anymore, but if we asked for him when we started, he would try to take up space so they couldn't talk to us. I've had that experience. But anyways, I digress. We felt so protected by this little dude. Corny as it sounds. AJ was always around and game to talk when we sat down to gab. Soon, though, we started noticing the darn thing getting faster and stronger. Our arms would feel pulled this way and that way and go to letters faster with incredibly skillful precision. Increasingly, we'd end up putting the board away because the vibe started to feel super sour in the room. It's gross to say, but the gentle aspect that we liked about this spirit was replaced with wording that was not only better spelled, but sexual and catty in nature. So even though we'd put the freaking thing away once it got all weird, we'd go right back to it later in the evening or the next day. It was a compulsion. One night, Jennifer's older sister stopped by to visit their mom, but decided she'd hang out with us for a while. It was literally the first time she ever did this, and it really felt cool to have someone who was pretty popular in school kick it with us. When she came into Jennifer's room, she saw the Ouija board, and she got instantly piqued. We showed her what we usually got up to, and she was skeptical at first. She said, I'm going to go out to the hall and hold out some fingers up and see if the Ouija board can get it. So she does this, and one by one, it kept nailing it. You could see the smirk wipe off her face and go into something akin to fear. Then you could see the fear go into desperate curiosity. She sat down and played with us, getting some gossip about her parents' divorce that we didn't even think to ask about. It didn't take long for the sexual catty stuff to get cranked up. She was looking at us with a face that also felt the air shift. When we did our usual bellyache and hands-off ritual over it, though she protested. She thought this was when it gets really interesting. And what did that darn thing suggest we do not do? 5 minutes after we decided she might be right, it suggested us to hold a seance. Guess what, gang? Went along with it because cool big sis got super excited about the idea. So we did. The board told us to get into a circle and hold hands, then call for a spirit to appear. Mind, the Ouija board isn't spelling things out as cleanly. Laugh out loud. It'd be something like, hold hands, invite. And that's the good spelling. Anyway, we do as instructed. Nothing was happening at first, in spite of Big Sister's insistence that if you were there, show us a sign on repeat. Still, our big round eyes would look around at one another. I'm not sure if we were hoping something would happen or if we were waiting for another to call it off. Nobody wants to be the ultimate nerd, though. If we played our cards right, we might can hang with her crew as they smoked cigarettes behind classes, or between classes, and generally looked beautiful and badass. If you're there, do something, she commanded. A newspaper clipping taped to my friend's mirror flickered, and we all jumped. But she confirmed it was a ceiling fan and said it does that periodically. Whew. There's maybe another minute of Big Sister making demands, and I was certain someone was going to speak up and break the circle. But Big Sis dropped. If you're here, I give you permission to show yourself. That's a big no-no. Not a moment after she uttered those words did she leap up onto her feet and scream while pulling her shirt off. "Get off me!" she was screaming, and Jennifer immediately hopped up and pulled the cord to turn the light back on. Her big sister threw herself back first onto the wall as though smashing an invisible something that was on her. I remember a single stream of spit hanging from her mouth as it hung open for a moment. It was just really odd to see a cool person look decisively not cool. But I digress. It's freaking terrifying. She spun around and screamed, "What is it?" over and over, and just below her bra strap were 3 scratches, in some places deep enough to draw a bit of blood. We instinctively huddled around her, cloaked her in a protective shield, but had no freaking clue what to do except move that huddle downstairs and into the living room where her mother was watching TV. She leapt up and took a look at Big Sis's back as we frantically explained what happened. And once her mother looked at Big Sis's back, it has AJ written in welts and blood. AJ. Her mom made us burn the darn thing. She kept saying, "I told you not to mess with it. I told you." And in rare fashion, Jennifer didn't utter a word in protest. She just asked for advice on the best way to burn it. Strange bonding experience standing in the backyard at night and watching her mom, usually quite sullen and withdrawn those days, put one arm around Big Sis and use the other to continually douse the doomed board with lighter fluid. I never did get to stand outside with the cool kids. If anything, she pretended not to see us even harder.